If you've been on the internet lately, then you know the Karen meme is all the rage recently, especially now that wearing masks and other measures are being put in place, and we all know Karens do not like to be told what to do. And since you guys liked part 1 of this series so much, of course we're coming at you with part 2 of the top 10 Karens that went too far and got exposed. Hey, what's up guys, it's Mackenzie here, and today on IO I'm going to be giving you guys the scoop on some more Karens that are going viral on the internet. And I know Jared was in the last one, but he couldn't make it out for this one, unfortunately. But these Karen stories are so entertaining, I'm hoping it'll still be a good time. And like I said before, the wildest part of some of these videos is that the Karen thought that they were in the right and gonna get support when they uploaded, the footage, which shows just how out of touch these people are. And now without further ado, let's get into the madness. Starting off with number 10, we have Coffee Karen. This first one might honestly be the most violent that I've ever seen. Basically, it starts when two guys were sitting outside a Manhattan Beach coffee shop about to eat. Then Karen and Ken come up to them and start going off on them for not wearing masks, even though they are outside and not really close to anyone. The groups went back and forth for a bit and it all seemed like pretty cordial conversation until the Karen decides to throw her hot coffee on one of the guys. And after this, he ends up pouncing on the Ken, and the pair end up fighting with this guy until it's broken up and the Ken has a very bloody nose. Then the situation gets even worse when the Ken decides to call the cops and tell them that he's just been a but obviously fails to mention how he started this whole thing by firstly coming up to them at all, then secondly throwing the coffee completely unnecessarily. And then the video ends with the cops showing up. And obviously these guys were in the wrong for not wearing masks, if that is the law where they were, but throwing coffee on someone is not only a but will also get your boyfriend punched in the face. And at number 9, Fat Shaming Karen. And we don't only have anti-maskers in this one, we're diversifying with our Karens here. And this one is a Karen fat shaming an Instagram model. Influencer Karina Irby is the designer of Moana Bikini and has more than 1.1 million followers on Instagram. And she has many skin conditions such as eczema. But over the weekend she shared a message from a Karen who claimed her weight may be the reason for her skin problems. It looks to be a DM where the Karen claims that she quote used to follow her but hadn't for a while and had just had a look back at her profile, then dropping the bomb by saying quote, I'm not trying to be rude, but I feel like all your skin issues etc may have started when you started putting on weight. Then adding maybe try and lose some weight and see if it lessens a little bit for you. Can only try, hun. And this is so crazy because she's literally not overweight like whatsoever. Like I have no idea what weight this Karen thinks she needs to lose, like I don't literally see anything. But Karina decided to clap back, replying quote, FYI Karen, I was born with these skin conditions. It's people like you that make people like us feel like they have to feel ashamed, embarrassed, and cover ourselves up. And I am so happy we're also telling Karens off online now. And at number 8, Gas Station Karen. This one is actually kind of a case of a Karen getting what was coming to her. So this one started out in a gas station with some people already in the gas station. Then Karen walks in when she needs help with a pump. Then when the Karen wants to cut in line in front of the people that were already standing there, the Karen was heard saying quote, go back to her own country, before telling the clerk behind the counter not to serve this other person. Then after a lot of back and forth and screaming, it builds up to a face-to-face altercation, where it's hard to tell kind of exactly what's happened, but it seems like the woman lightly shoved the Karen because she was getting too close to her face. Then the Karen pushed her back much harder, with the other woman then going all in and slapping her in the face. Then it all ends with the Karen leaving, while the cameraman tells her why it was her fault that all went down. And although I definitely don't think the women should have ever put hands on each other, it's a reminder that you never know what people are gonna do if you start an altercation with someone. And at number 7, Trader Joe's Karen. This one went down at a Trader Joe's when a Karen entered the store and started shopping without a mask on, even though it was their policy. The clip is really short so you can't really tell the entire situation, but eyewitnesses filled in some of the holes. But in the video you can see the Karen screaming at a bunch of the employees, and then when she's not getting her way, she decides to throw her basket to the ground and storm out, while calling everyone Democratic pigs. Then she tries to give her side of the story, saying quote, that man harassed me for not wearing a mask. I have a breathing problem, my doctor wouldn't let me wear a mask. So anyone harassing me to wear a mask, you guys are violating federal law. Get that on camera. Then when this picked up a lot of media coverage, she told ABC7 that the reason she got so hostile is because the man that first encountered her was swearing unnecessarily at her and she felt harassed and in danger. And even though I can see where she's coming from, like this guy didn't need to get so vile so quickly, she was still in the wrong for not wearing a mask and for screaming in the store and like throwing her basket and all that other other stuff. In at number 6, Papers Karen. This next one was when a Karen stopped someone from doing their job. A California Karen blocked a landscaper from working because she refused to move out of the way until he showed documentation that proved that he was in the US legally. And sadly, the landscaper told TMZ that it was not the first time she had harassed him before, also telling him to go back to his own country. In the video, you can see that he was mowing the lawn in Palm Springs, and the woman walks around him, stopping him from going anywhere, and she just keeps asking him for his papers before the video ends up cutting out. And even though she was being recorded, it didn't stop her from being completely out of line. Up at number 5, Measuring Tape Karen. This one isn't freaking out because of her lax nature about the virus, but instead because of how seriously she is taking it. In the short video, all you can see is this Karen with her measuring tape out, screaming at the top of her lungs that she's protecting her family. Well, it looks like her husband is trying to pull her away. According to the other woman that was filming, they were at the beach when the Karen wanted their group to move further away from hers. Then she identified herself as a nurse and took out the measuring tape to probably show what 6 feet looked like, and I'm sure that the Karen felt that they weren't social distancing. But since she was pretty close to them while screaming at them, I'm really not sure how much she could actually be caring about social distancing. Kinda hypocritical. Then up at number 4, Dentist Karen. This Karen was caught up at the dentist when she refused to wear a mask. It's hard to know what happened before this, but you can hear her speaking with a secretary, I assume, who tells her that she won't be able to get her teeth cleaned unless she wears a mask. The Karen seems to be very shook by this information and tries to justify the fact that she doesn't want to wear a mask by saying, quote, "You're gonna work on my teeth, not my nose." Then when they are still firm on the policy, she asks if she can just hold her hand over her face, but that's obviously rejected too. Then when the office says that they also need to take her temperature for her to come in, she loses it, claiming that it's illegal for them to take her temperature because they're not doctors. And just an FYI, that is not a thing and makes no sense. Everyone is checking temperatures these days. Then she keeps going that she's gonna sue them for harassing her, and that she actually spoke with her lawyer before she went in to make sure of that. And side note, if that's true, this woman's seriously losing it. Like, consulting your lawyer before you leave your house because you know you're gonna get yourself into a problem, like, just wear a mask, come on. Then in at number 3, Insurance Karen. Yet another case of a Karen doing something wrong and then trying to call the cops to save herself, but it failing miserably. This one starts off with the man filming the fact that his mirror has been scraped by the Karen, and her refusing to give over her ID and insurance until she calls the cops, with him hinting that it's because of the color of his skin and she feels threatened. Instagram account Karen's Gone Wild is who posted the video, with her responding to that, quote, "I do want to give you the insurance, I just gotta call 911 first." But then her telling the cops that she's afraid of him. Then at the end of the video, after making this whole problem, she admits she didn't even have the insurance in the first place. Then up at number 2, SoCal Karen. This next one is incredibly vile and just shows how insanely entitled some people can be. This one went down in California, where a young woman was working out on a set of stairs in an open park. Then the Karen walks down the stairs right where she is when she literally could have went down any other set of stairs, and kinda hits her as she's leaving. Then the woman low-key calls her out by saying, you know, Jesus, or something like that you'd kinda do. And this is when the woman goes off. She then gets all up in her face and tells her that she better watch it or she's gonna, quote, get her ass kicked by her family? She then continued to spout off other profanities until it got racial, telling her to go back to whatever country she came from. Then she ends it all off by calling her out for wearing black clothes when it's hot and sunny out. Like, these Karens really do have the nerve, it's so wild. Calling her out because she's wearing black clothing, like, I can't. And then lastly we have Costco Karen, who is definitely the most mature on this list. You'll see what I mean in a minute, trust me. When the video starts, it looks like the Karen has asked to speak to the manager, classic. Then the manager asks why she's not wearing the mask, hinting to if she has some sort of medical condition. Then the woman says she doesn't have a condition, but she still doesn't need to wear the mask because she's a United States citizen. Okay. But then the employee calls her out saying that they can make any rules that they want, and then points out that the Karen could literally just wear the mask that she has dangling from her ear instead of causing a problem for no reason. And what's crazier is that Costco security is pretty strict, so she probably used that mask to get into the store, then took it off just to be problematic. Then when the employee stands firm on the fact that she won't be helping her without a mask on, Karen takes it even further and sits down on the floor of Costco. And I guess the employee has dealt with other Karens in her day because she hardly reacted at all and just asked her to move aside so people could still leave the store. And we sadly didn't get to see how this one ended, but I just assumed security kicked her out after her sitting on the floor for way longer than was needed. Alrighty everyone, that's all for the story today. Let me know what you're thinking down below about all these Karens. But before I head out, I'm gonna shout out some comments from part 1 of this series. So Sean said, the Karens are getting worse than Rona. It's becoming the Karen-virus. Karen-virus. Oh my god. It really is out here. It's wild. The amount of Karen stories, I feel like there's a new one every day. It's insane. Then Evilissy said, can we put all these Karens on an island? I would want to watch that. Can we make that a show, please? Yes, that would be reality TV done right. Get them all like Hunger Games style. Whew, I would binge the heck out of that. That would be amazing. Then F said, how do you still not know you can't pet a service dog? They tend to wear the very obvious vest to let you know what they're doing. Heck, even if it wasn't a service dog, you're not entitled to pet it without a consent of the owner. Did common sense flew out the window or something? I mean, it definitely has. Like, we already kind of know that from all the videos we cover. Common sense ain't that common. We already know. But yeah, it's crazy. Like, you're not always allowed to pet other people's dogs. And yeah, the service dog thing, it's really sad when those dogs need to be like really in the zone and then people are just like bothering them. Okay everyone, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it all the way here, I really appreciate it. And be sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram to be kept up to date with all the news and tea you'll ever need to know. And I'll see you on the next one.